Now that we've discussed the issues within your organization, we can now talk about how you can fix these issues. Our first recommendation is to determine your listening style. There are several types of listening styles. One is not better than the other. However, know your listening style and know your style's strengths and weaknesses. The different listening styles include people-oriented, action-oriented, content-oriented, and time-oriented. People-oriented listeners are most concerned about how their listening impacts their relationship with other people. Action-oriented listeners concentrate on the task. Content-oriented listeners take in all the details and carefully evaluate what they hear. And time-oriented listeners watch the clock and encourage others to present information in an efficient manner. As I mentioned before, there is no right or wrong listening style. However, they all have their pros and cons. For example, people-oriented listeners tend to take on the emotional state of those who they are talking with. Action-oriented listeners often become impatient. Our next recommendation is to master communication via technology. Standardize the way your organization communicates with each other. Adopt a system that simplifies communication between nurses and doctors, such as EPIC, as we've mentioned before, in order to reduce medical error, unnecessary and unintended treatments, and misdiagnosis. We also recommend a standardized verbal communication by using SBAR. SBAR stands for Situation, Background, Assessment, and Recommendation. A study found that communication is more effective when the form of communication between doctors is more standardized, specific, and clear. Our last recommendation is in regard to your communication style. It is important that leaders in the healthcare field take on an interpersonal orientation when speaking and working with fellow coworkers. As we mentioned, lack of respect takes a toll on the productiveness and cohesiveness of a team working together to help patients. Characteristics and distinctions of an interpersonal orientation include listening carefully to others, engaging in flexible and open communication, and recognizing the positions, ideas, and feelings of others. A few examples of how these recommendations are to be used are as follows. When verbally communicating with nurses and other support staff, engage in content-oriented listening and refrain from action-oriented listening. This will allow you to gather all the details and evaluate what you hear from the nurse. Engaging in action-oriented listening may cause you to become impatient and cut off the speaker and end up with the incorrect or missing information. In addition to engaging in productive listening style, it is helpful to remember SBAR when relaying essential patient information. A clinical example of SBAR is like so. Situation. Dr. Preston, I'm calling about Mr. Lockwood who's having trouble breathing. Background. He's a 54-year-old male with chronic lung disease who has been sliding downhill and now he's acutely worse. Assessment. I don't hear any breath sounds in his right chest. I think he has a pneumothorax. Recommendation. I need you to see him right now. I think he needs a chest tube. When using a system like EPIC, nurses and doctors are able to include all necessary information neatly and thoroughly to ensure that patients continue to receive optimum care, even during shift changes and handovers. I provided a link that will take you to a questionnaire to assess your current leadership skills. I encourage you to take the questionnaire to find out where you currently stand. We will now watch a video about the 5 traits of successful leaders. conclude, the solutions we provided for the detrimental issues at BSA are easy to implement and will deliver the desired results. Together, you will learn what a difference it makes to respect each other and how to communicate effectively and efficiently, and your patients will thank you for it too. It takes respect to get respect. Learn to respect each other in the workplace, and the ease of communication will follow. Develop and refine your communication style, and build a positive environment for employees to thrive in. Determine and standardize the best forms of communication for your organization, whether it is through a charting system, such as Epic, paper charts, or through oral communication. Remember, you manage things, you lead people. Thank you.